Thank you. Ms. Titus, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, and thank you all for what you've been doing to try to fix these problems and implement this bill. I'd like to go back to the issue of the shortage of doctors in the private sector, because this is very serious in Nevada, and in Las Vegas we're at the bottom, I think 50th or 45th or something for all different types of specialists. So I'd like to go back to that issue. Several of us worked very hard to get the provision in the bill to create the new residencies. And I heard you say that you're given, I think, 300 a year, and you've already got 400 applicants. I want to be really reassured that those residencies are going to go to places where there's the need. I don't want them just to go to UCLA because it's already got a great program, or Johns Hopkins, or go where the need is. The second part of that is where there is a need is also where they may not be able to support residencies at this time. So it's kind of a double hit. That's true in Las Vegas. We are getting a new medical school. Turow is growing. We've got the new hospital, but we're not going to be able to apply this year, hopefully next year. Can you explain kind of how you're going to distribute those, and how I've got a working group right now that's meeting to be sure we will be eligible for some of them, what you might recommend to that group that you look at for some of the qualifications?
Sure. So we can get you, I can get you specifically information about kind of what the requirements are, so that you personally have that information. But you know, I think that the intent of the law, as we interpret it, is that those slots are to go to meet underserved areas and needs, and not go to UCLA necessarily. Not that there's anything wrong with UCLA, but so I think the intention is there. There are, you know, many community hospitals that establish family practice residencies and other residency programs that are not medical. We do not own residency slots. They are owned by an academic partner. So those slots are, they set up a program and get approval through the ACGME for those positions. We fund them, essentially. And in return, those residents rotate through our institutions, and we provide some of the training. I think the challenge clearly is for a place that has not had a residency program to be able to recruit and retain faculty, to be able to teach, to be able to meet all the accreditation standards that ACGME has for those programs. And it certainly takes a critical mass of residents to be able to meet all the work hour restrictions and everything else that they have and maintain a viable program. But I can certainly make sure that you get information that you can pass along. And I think the best thing that you all can do actually is encourage hospitals or other institutions in your districts that are interested in that to contact our Office of Academic Affiliations to get information.
Maybe I could get somebody from the office to come meet with that group in Las Vegas.
I'd be happy to make that arrangement.
That would be great.
Yep.
And then kind of related to that, you also mentioned that you're worried about these kind of middlemen organizations like Tri-West being able to find enough people in the private sector to be part of this program. I remember asking the director of that, who's sitting right where you are, if wasn't this going to be a problem, and his exact words were, "Oh no, we're going to just ask doctors to step up. They'll just step up to help veterans." Well, if they're not there, they can't step up, and I think that was a little optimistic anyway. Can you tell me what you're doing to monitor those groups to be sure that they are providing the services?
So we monitor today the referrals that we make to Tri-West and HealthNet through PC3, our PC3. And we know how quickly they can place patients. We know how quickly or how often those authorizations are returned because they can't find a provider. The good thing about, I think, the choice program, I mean, so we set up PC3 really to be our preferred provider network. And Tri-West and HealthNet establish contracts with those providers. Under the choice program, you have provided, I think, a really good tool in terms of the provider agreement authority that we have, which allows, so the veteran will be able to choose any willing provider that meets certain criteria. They have to be Medicare provider, federally qualified health center, et cetera, et cetera. But once that's done, TriWest or HealthNet will be able to reach out and get an agreement with that person for the choice program, even if the provider doesn't necessarily want to be part of the PC3 network. Okay. I think the one issue that we have that really does need to be addressed expeditiously is the fee structure in Alaska. The Medicare rates will not buy much care. Not many willing providers in Alaska that are interested there. I know that you all are aware of that, and your attention to that in a timely way would be really helpful.
Thank you. Just really quickly, Mr. Gibson, as you were talking about expanding and improving and changing the VA, kind of as Mr. Walls was suggesting, this is just the beginning, not the end. I hope you'll look at those maps, all those different maps that divide the country up into different regions. In Nevada, we're split into 3 parts for VHA, and then at the same time, we're in with California for VBA. They just don't make sense. Will you look at that?
We don't think they make sense either.
Okay, good. Thank you.